Gay Erotica, 10 Gay Men First-Time Stories, Gay Collection, Book 4, written by Karl Cumin, narrated by H.K. Kiting. Does size matter, Doctor? The clasp of the medical bag being snapped shut echoed around the small office, and Dr. Shannon stretched his arms above his head afterwards to drive away some of the tiredness brought on by a long day of work. He was picking the bag up when he heard the door opening, and turned to the sight of his nurse coming in. "Is that it for the day?" he asked. She said, and he saw the rueful smile cross her face. He let out a sigh and looked at his watch to see it was now after 6 o'clock in the evening. The hours of the free walk-in clinic he staged once a fortnight were 8 until 6, but it seemed his day was about to go on a bit longer than he anticipated. He put the bag down on the floor before speaking again. "What is it?" "Young man," the nurse said when she stepped forward, "said he needs some advice." "Advice on what exactly?" Dr. Shannon asked. The nurse held out her arms and shrugged. "That's all I've got," she went on. "He seems a bit embarrassed, and I got the impression he isn't too keen on revealing his problems to a woman." Dr. Shannon frowned and lifted a hand to rub the nape of his neck. "Well, I guess you'd better show him in," he said. "Will you need me?" "No, I guess not if it's simply advice he wants," Dr. Shannon replied. "Bring him through, and then you can get going." "Will do," she said. She disappeared out the door of the room, and Dr. Shannon sat down at the desk. He glanced at his bag, but there was no point in getting anything from it until he heard what the young man had to say. If it really was simply advice, he suspected he wouldn't need any of his medical equipment. He set his gaze on the door when he heard the approaching footsteps, and got up when his nurse led the patient into the room. "This is Logan," she said to introduce the young man. "I'll leave him in your capable hands." Dr. Shannon waited until she left the room and closed the door before he said anything. "Please take a seat." The agitation of Logan was all too apparent, and it was clear the situation was making him uncomfortable. He glanced at the closed door before looking across the room. "Will she come back?" he asked. "No," Dr. Shannon said. "Our time here was supposed to finish at 6, so I told her she could go once she showed you in. Please take a seat." Yeah, sure," Logan said. He moved across the room cautiously, and it made his apprehension all the more apparent. Dropping down on the seat opposite the doctor, he clasped his hands in his lap and kept his head bowed to stare at the surface of the desk. Dr. Shannon frowned as the silence stretched out, and he finally spoke. "My nurse informed me you need some sort of advice." Logan seemed almost startled by the innocuous comment, and shuffled around uneasily on the seat. "Yeah," he muttered. There was another silence, and Dr. Shannon frowned. It seemed he would need to tease the information out of his patient, and he leaned forward to place his hands on the desk. "You'll have to give me some idea of what you want if I'm to help you." Logan rocked his head slowly from side to side as if he was contemplating what to say, and he eventually looked up. The flush of red glowed on his cheeks to reveal his embarrassment. He opened his mouth a couple of times, then hurriedly closed it again, without saying anything. It built a tension that finally ended with an admission. "I started having sex recently," he blurted out, and dropped his gaze again. "Okay. Did you have some sort of problem?" Dr. Shannon asked in a calm voice. Logan nodded his head, but said nothing, and kept staring at the desk. "Which was?" Dr. Shannon prompted after a few seconds. "Couldn't hold it," Logan said, and let out a nervy laugh. His words made it clear what the problem was, and Dr. Shannon took a second for a pause or two before speaking. "Okay, well, premature ejaculation isn't uncommon in young men having sex for the first time," he said. That's what the man I was with told me," Logan blurted out. "But, it's not exactly a good thing, is it?" Dr. Shannon narrowed his eyes as he stared across the desk. That the handsome young patient opposite him confessed to liking men came as a surprise, but the flutter
Sample complete. Ready to continue?